Hey everybody, it's your girl PJamma from PJamma Lyfe. Today we are reviewing Old Guard by Opening Fire by Greg Rucka and The Old Guard on Netflix. Make sure you subscribe to my channel to get all the fantastic content. Let's get started. Old Guard, Opening Fire by Greg Rucka and Leandro Fernandez is a graphic novel, fiction, and dark fantasy. It was published in 2017. Greg Rucka has won 5 Eisner Awards, which is kind of like the Oscars of comics for his different graphic novels. And The Old Guard deals with the issues of grief, loss, told through a superhero story. The Old Guard is a team of immortal warriors who all exist to save humanity. They find a young Marine, Niall, who has discovered in combat that she doesn't seem to die. And through a series of events, Andy recruits her. The team goes on a mission, but their handler, Copley, blows their cover to Stephen Merrick, a wealthy pharmaceutical executive who wants to conduct research on them to discover the secret of their immortality to profit from it. And the team then goes on the run. They discover Copley has gone rogue. They find out why they were betrayed and banish the person from the group for 100 years. And then Niall becomes a full member of the team. So that's kind of the novel in a nutshell. And Greg Rucka does a fantastic job with this graphic novel series. And I love this story. I thought this was the exact way graphic novels should be told. It's a great way that he tells the story of the toll of immortality takes on the human psyche. But this is really a metaphor for accepting death and really becoming sensitive over time to how the loss of a loved one affects you. And his characters were really richly drawn, I felt. They were fully formed and compelling. And really, it's a very short story that he used to tell this really fantastic tale. So I highly recommend that everyone read this, because I think this is really what comics are supposed to be, telling a tale of fantasy, but really dealing with issues that are current and relevant for today. Now, let's take a look at the movie, The Old Guard, on Netflix. The Old Guard was directed by Gina Prince Bythewood, and you know her from the great movie Love and Basketball, and she recently did a TV show, Shots Fired. Once again, Greg Rucka wrote this movie, so you know him from he's done this, and then he's done a TV show called Stumptown that was on ABC recently. The movie stars Charlize Theron, who's incredible. You know her from Atomic Blonde, and she plays Andy. Chiwetel Ejiofor plays Copley, and you know him from just a ton of movies. Most recently, he was in the Marvel Universe in Doctor Strange. Kiki Lane is relatively new to the scene. She plays Niall, and she was recently in If Beale Street Could Talk. Harry Melling plays Merrick. But you might know him, and this was so interesting, as Dudley Dursley from the Harry Potter series. Harry Potter's cousin that tortured him in the movie. So I just thought that was really interesting how he's grown up. But the story is pretty much the same as the series. I mean, if you have the person who wrote the graphic novel as the writer of the movie and the executive producer, I mean, you're going to pretty much get the same story. So it followed the story very closely. But what was really interesting, because he is the executive producer and the writer, he insisted that this movie contained the first same-sex lovers in any superhero movie. And he insisted that that plot was in there. And I thought that that was such a key part of the graphic novel. And so I thought it was really great that he fought to keep that in. And just a couple of really powerful quotes in the movie that really get to the heart of it was that when Booker tells Niall, just because we keep living doesn't mean we stop hurting. And Andy says to the team, we don't get a say in how it ends. We never did. But we can control how we live. And I think that kind of encapsulates everything about the movie and the book, because the movie is really talking about the loss of loved ones and how you go on. Even though you've lost people in your life, you have to continue. And you can't stop people from passing away, but you can control how it affects you and then how you can move on. So let me give a couple of differences between the graphic novel and the movie. There were some. There weren't a whole lot, but it were just some tweaks from the book to the movie. And one of the ones is that the plane fight that Niall and Andy have doesn't happen in the novel. But this was a great scene that really showed off each of them's strength in their character. And the story of Quinn that's in the movie is not in this book. I think it comes later in the second part of the series, but it's not in any of these first 5 books of the graphic novel. And Copley in the book is a white man, a white American, and in the movie, he's a British black man working for the CIA. And Copley finding out about their purpose doesn't happen at all in this part of the series in the books. It doesn't happen until the second story of the comics. So they added that in to possibly, which I'm hoping for, is to give this begins a franchise where they have multiple movies. So I think that kind of ties into them kind of mixing the two series into this movie and then the continuation if there's a sequel. Niall's decision to leave initially wasn't in the comic. I mean, she was just like, yeah, let's go, let's do this. And she gets pretty much folded into the team organically, but the movie, I think, made the better decision to have her have some doubts about what she's doing, because then that gives more background to her story. And then as well, they gave more background to Merrick's company in the movie versus the book. So what did the movie get right? The movie does a wonderful job in really bringing the comic to life, and the casting is superb. Mwah! I mean, Charlize is just the perfect Andy, and Kiki Lane is fantastic as Niall. I mean, they got that totally right. And I really hope the way they did it, and you can see there's a twist at the end, that I really hope that they get a sequel and that another movie is along the way. But I thought it really brought the whole comic to life and was just perfection, except for this one thing. What the movie got wrong was the casting of Merrick. Now, that kid was great in Harry Potter, but I thought he was not the right type. They needed somebody who was, in the book, he was kind of beefy, doing push-ups in meetings, kind of psychopath. And this guy, they had him kind of as this little nerdy, wimpy, jerk, like a needy child, rather than a ruthless psychopath that he was in the book. And that would have lent a little more tension and made Merrick more dramatic, which I was kind of hoping for. So would I recommend the book or the movie? I love it, I love it, I love it. I love both of them, so I would recommend both of them wholeheartedly. I think that both are a great adaptation, and I think it's something that everyone can watch. So my final review, both the book and the movie were fantastic. To me, was one of the best action movies of the year. And the movie is a fantastic pastiche of the superhero origin stories. It's a great comic, but I think it's an even better movie because they flesh out the characters a little more. So I give it a yes! So where can you find The Old Guard? Well, you can watch The Old Guard on Netflix, and you can read The Old Guard Opening Fire by Greg Rucka. The ebook is available on Hoopla, and you've heard me do a video about Hoopla, but it's on Hoopla right now that you can get for free. You can view it on your Amazon Kindle, Apple iBooks, Barnes & Noble Nook, Google Play, and Kobo. And check it out at your local public library. So that's it. I hope you like my review of this fantastic comic and movie. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And hit that bell so you get notifications of when new videos are available. And as we say, art is too important not to share. See you next time. Bye.